What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls and kind of how their season is going, the trajectory of their franchise, because honestly, I believe it's time they just need to blow it up. It's a very common synopsis that I've seen from NBA media and their fans and everybody's. It seems like a lot of the Bulls fans are just over it, and I can see why, because they're not a very entertaining team. They got good players, so they have trade pieces that could haul in their next rebuild. But I want to talk about how that would all work. So before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But the biggest domino that they have that they could use, the biggest piece they have is Zach Lavine. DeMar DeRozan's really good. Nikola Vucevic is good. There's some other guys. But Zach Lavine is ultimately the guy that's going to get them the most for their buck. And I would say in most eyes, he's probably a good number 2 on a really competitive team or an awesome number 3 for a championship contender, right? And there'll be some teams that are going to look for Zach Lavine. The Lakers are going to be one of them, although I do not agree that they should be going for him because I like what the team looks like overall. There's the 76ers, which I have heard, which could be okay. I understand the logic behind it. And then there's like the Miami Heat, who I think should be all in on that. But Zach Lavine ultimately probably gets you at least a couple of good role players and at least a couple of first-round picks. He is under contract for the foreseeable future. He's still young, so you're going to get a guy that's really entering or basically in his prime for the next couple of years. And we've seen this dude go for 25, 26, 27 points per game before, so he is an awesome scorer. The three-point shooting, while he shoots at volume, he does knock down those threes, spaces the floor. Zach Lavine's a really good player, and I think on a team like Philly, he could be pretty good. I think on a team like Miami, he could be pretty good depending what you give up. Like I said, I think it's probably 2 good role players or young players and then a couple of first-round picks. So I think both those teams could offer that. Ultimately, the real value is in those first-round picks, though. Then you have DeMar DeRozan, and while he's still a really good player, he's in an expiring contract. So ultimately, whoever trades for him is taking a big swing for the fences because whoever's trading for him is probably trying to win a title. And he is a guy that could come in and be that third option there because he's good at creating. He has an awesome mid-range. He can get to the rack. He scores, does all that. But ultimately, he's not quite as value as Zach Lavine. And because, one, I don't think he's as good as Zach, but he's also expiring contract. So there's no guarantee that he's going to be on your team after you trade for him. Ultimately, though, I still think he could get you 1 or 2 first-round picks from the right team. It'll be somebody that's trying to contend, that's thinking maybe we're just behind Boston and Milwaukee, or we're just behind the Nuggets and, whoever is going to be up top in the West because it's so scrambled right now. Could be a team that's just taking a big swing here and has a couple first-round picks to blow. I think that could be a very realistic option. I would say you're probably going to wait till the trade deadline or close to the deadline to really see what these teams are looking like so that they're like, yeah, we need to go get DeMar if we want to win this year. But I would say at least 1 first-round pick, maybe 2 in that case, and maybe some filler just to make salaries work. But off of trading Zach and DeMar, you probably got a couple of good role players, young players maybe, and 3 or 4 first-round picks, which could be very beneficial towards kickstarting this rebuild. But there's one other guy that I think actually has a lot of value, and that's Alex Caruso. I think, Laker legend. If you don't get a first-round pick for him because of how great he is as a defender and making all the right plays, anybody that's watched the Bulls or watched the Lakers or watched Alex Caruso for that matter knows that is a winning basketball player. And he fits basically everywhere. Whoever they trade him to, it's going to be a contender for sure. Got to get a first-round pick. Get a first-round pick for him. You trade Zach, DeMar, and Caruso, and you've got at least 5 first-round picks of other teams, and then you have your own. Can kind of really get your rebuild going and start over because what they're doing just isn't working. Being mediocre is not it. Bulls fans would agree, I would think. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Or who else would you trade? I know there's Vucevic, but he did just sign a new contract, so I don't know how much they're going to look to try and move him, although him and DeMar are good friends, so maybe their combo package or something crazy, maybe something else happens. Maybe they trade him, get another couple first-round picks or something from a team that's needing a big. Who knows? Ultimately, though, I think Zach, DeMar, and Caruso are the 3 guys that hold real value and have a very high chance of being traded. I think if they're dumb, though, being them the front office, if they're dumb, they don't trade. They end up not trading these guys. They end up not trading DeMar DeMar should be the first one that's like, yeah, you're getting dealt at some point this season no matter what, unless, of course, injury happens, which we hope not. But there's no point in having DeMar on this team. He's expiring. They're not going to win anything. You might as well just get what you can for him and send him to a situation where maybe he has a chance too. I think that benefits both sides. And then the Zach Lavine thing, I think he'll get traded just because if you want to start the rebuild, you need to just clean slate it and start completely over, start fresh. Maybe you get somebody's got a first-round pick that hasn't played a ton in the last couple of years or is behind people on the depth chart, whatever it is. Just look for dudes with opportunity. And I think when you do trade all these guys, you do have a few guys on this team that you just go out there and hoop, see what we got. Patrick Williams is a big one. He has not looked very good at all in his career thus far, but playing behind all these guys might be doing that. Just unleash him, I guess. Let him do what he wants to do out there and see what you have. Kobe White's kind of the same thing. I think Dalen Terry would be one that, like, as Bulls fans, that could be somebody that you can kind of put a little bit of an emotional investment into because it's like he is a young guy. He was just drafted. Like, let's see what he's got. And if he proves that he can kind of get out there and get buckets or be an impactful player, then you know you got something. But ultimately, not doing anything is going to be the stupidest thing they can do. So, obviously, we got several months until the trade deadline, 3 or 4 months, whatever it is. But this team should be completely overhauled by the end of the season, for sure. And besides, if you made those trades and you get what I think you could get for them, you're starting 5-6 extra first-round picks. You're completely clean slating everything. You're giving young guys a bigger opportunity to see what they can be. And maybe they blossom a little bit because sometimes just an opportunity is all they need, and an extended one where they're not worried about getting pulled every time they make a mistake. You never know. But ultimately, starting over is probably the best thing that they're going to do. And standing pat or only trading one of these guys really doesn't symbolize starting over or looking to create something better than mediocrity. But anyway, Bulls fans, do you guys want to see a rebuild? Do you guys want to see any of these guys get traded? Or is there anybody that you think you could get more value than I said? Maybe you think Zach's worth 3 or 4 first-round picks. We've seen dudes get traded for crazy amounts of picks lately. I'm trying to be a little bit realistic because I think that Zach's going to get traded for a couple of firsts and a couple of players. But let me know in the comments what you're thinking, who you want. Is there like young guys that you're kind of like, he hasn't really got an opportunity, let's try and go get him? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. Appreciate you for watching, but I'm done. Peace.